Oh, snap. What did I do? I cut it short. Hey, this is episode number 7 of the UFO Buster Radio Freakout. And with me today, just to start this off, because I really didn't have anything specific that I had to freak out about. Just freaking about the whole damn week altogether. But we've got the Hulk Norm, not the regular Norm. This is the Hulk Norm. And we got Green Man with me as well.
Hello.
There you go. Actually, that looks pretty good. So this is the freak out for this week. And like I was saying, it's been a pretty rough week. It's just been crazy. What about you guys? What were you guys, how was your week?
Norm, you want mine was okay. Had a whole bunch of office buildings that rekeyed a few months back, and they were like, yeah, cool, no, don't worry about this, don't worry about that, and all of a sudden they had a fire inspection and everything became a red alert. So
yeah, everything's an issue
last
now.
few days. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it turned into, oh yeah, you missed like 100 and something locks. So yeah, that's where I was all week.
As far
So what
as
about
me,
you?
It's been hotter than anything on that I can remember out here. Just the heat has just been devastating. We've broken records in Vegas, and I just can't stand it anymore. So I'm heading north a little bit this weekend. We planned out a trip. We're gonna go check out the Clown Motel, brother. We're gonna go check out some haunted clowns.
That's gonna be cool.
Yeah, that's right. You sent me that link about the Clown Motel. I don't know that I could actually even look at the link. It's just a little weird.
Well, the babe and I, we just decided we got to get away for a while, and we're going to take a weekend. And I decided because we've been doing this for so long, why not check it out? I mean, we've been talking about getting together here when we can. The group, the horde, and I'm kind of scouting it out. I want to see what it's all about. Make it part of the trip. You know what I mean? And
no, it makes sense.
I don't know, man.
It makes sense. That's why we ended up in that hospital, that abandoned hospital. Shit, I can't even remember the name of the damn thing.
Oh,
anyway,
yeah.
so
that was like a couple months ago. Yeah.
That's why we ended up there. We just got to kill some time. Might as well just go there and check out the dead.
One thing I love about Tonopah, though, is the darkness. So the stars are going to be so clear. That's what I'm really looking forward to. You know me. I'm not big on ghosts, but if I can get involved with them, I will. But it's all about the UFOs for me. So.
Yeah, it makes total sense. Now, the first thing that we're going to freak out about was something that Green Man sent me earlier today. And for the love of Pete, wow. Now, this has to do with Kim Jong-un.
Who?
Kim Jong-un?
Yeah.
The son, the evil son that people thought was dead.
Man.
Was it last month or the month before they thought he was dead because he had some kind of operation?
Yeah.
But apparently he's got problems, right? There's issues going on over there. So instead of reading an article like I normally do, because this is on YouTube, it is a Thursday Night Freakout, and we are live on YouTube. I actually found a video that we can watch regarding the situation down there. Oh shit! Well, I guess over to the east. Thanks to Kim Jong and his issues. I'm telling you, Bugs was upset about this. If you have pets, you're gonna love this for sure. Let's roll it. Or not.
North Koreans forced to give up pet dogs for restaurant meat amid food shortages. The move by leader Kim Jong-un is apparently aimed at appeasing public discontent amid a dire economic situation, a report says. People in North Korea are reportedly being forced to give up their pet dogs so they can be used as dog meat for restaurants. The move by the leader Kim Jong-un is thought to be aimed at appeasing rising discontent among the public amid a dire economic situation in the secretive country, including food shortages. pet dogs are thought to be owned mostly by the elite and wealthy in the capital Pyongyang and are seen by authorities as a symbol of capitalist decadence, while ordinary people have pigs and other livestock. Mr. Kim issued a ban on pet ownership in July, denouncing it as a tainted trend by bourgeois ideology, according to South Korea's Chosun Ilbo newspaper, citing a source. The source said, authorities have identified households with pet dogs and are forcing them to give them up or forcefully confiscating them and putting them down. Advertisement: some of the dogs are being sent to state-run zoos or sold to dog meat restaurants, the source added. Dog meat is traditionally popular in China and on the Korean peninsula, although consumption is on the decline in South Korea. Pet owners are cursing Kim Jong-un behind his back, but there is little they can do, according to the source. They said, ordinary people raise pigs and livestock on their porches, but high-ranking officials and the wealthy own pet dogs, which stoked some resentment. Pet ownership used to be viewed as Western decadence, but attitudes appear to have relaxed when the North hosted the World Festival of Youth and Students in 1989. After that, the Pyongyang elite started flaunting expensive dogs as status symbols, the Chosun Ilbo reported. Now the latest move, seen by one defector as more severe than previous clampdowns, is being hailed by authorities as protecting the country against capitalist decadence.
So wait a minute, were you guys able to hear that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah, because Gavis said he wasn't getting any audio. Yeah, but I could hear it. So I don't know if anybody else heard it, but that's just freaking crazy as hell. That's my freak out. I'm telling you, that's bananas. Now, I can't, it's hard to really go and kind of poo-poo all of this, because the truth is there's a lot of countries out there that actually eat dogs. Sadly, dogs and, I don't know, cats. Do people eat cats? They're kind of nasty.
Well, I'm sure some cats have gone down the gullet a few times.
Yeah. They probably have. But yeah, it is bananas. When I saw that, I was like, are you serious? So apparently, Mr. Pyongyang himself is having some issues with the country, but you know, they've got so many what you would call it, so many issues, you know, economy wise and so forth. Yeah, I could see that. My sister, who is in the is watching right now, she said to cover Bug's ears. Yeah, Bugs has been farting up a storm the whole night when he heard about the story. I tried to cover his ears, I did, but it smells really bad in here. So that's a freak out, really. If you guys who are used to having pets, especially dogs, that's a sad situation.
Yeah, that's fucked up. That's bullshit.
Yeah, it's not cool, not cool at all.
Yeah,
Dre says that Norm is lost in space. He's missing in action. The Hulk Norm is gone. But yeah, it really is fucked up. Really, when you think about it. But again, he's put his country in that situation, and now he's going after the dogs. Like, they're literally going to people and picking up the dogs from their houses.
Yeah, but dude, his grandpa fucking started all that shit, man. You know, they had that, I think it was the 80s or something. They had that crazy famine, you know, it all comes from his grandpa. It's this dictatorship that's been handed down. And, you know, like his dad, he had like this enormous like movie collection. I heard that he was like Hennessy's like #1 customer in the fucking world.
Gee, I believe it. I believe it.
It's like they can have all this shit, you know, but the fucking poor people of North Korea are just screwed. You know, they don't have a choice. They can't even call bullshit. They get sent to some damn concentration camp. They have to run around all day. Monse, which is leader is great in fucking Korean. You know, but dude, it's like you watch like the old video from like the funerals from the father and the grandfather. Most of those people inside were probably cheering, but they have to fake, you know, just this all out. Oh my no, the leader's dead.
Right.
You know, dude, it's fucked up. And you know, I understand, dude, there's nothing else around. You know, being a dog guy, I'd never do it. I'd rather eat a human baby than a dog. But but
just got banned from YouTube. Everything, the lights went out.
But dude, there's nothing to eat, man. You got people in, a lot of the area still doesn't have, most of the country doesn't have electricity. These people don't have much of a choice in some of these areas, but like Pyongyang, that is one of the few spots that actually is a city that's equipped, that has electricity, has plumbing, and just for some asshole to come in and say, you have to give up somebody, something that you care about.
Right. And it's funny because they were saying in that video that people have pigs for pets, and they keep them on their patios in these high-rise apartments. That's bananas. Really, what? Why aren't they eating the pigs instead?
Yeah, I'm surprised the pigs aren't falling off the balconies, man.
Yeah, there you go. There's some pork lo mein for you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just completely crazy the way this thing happens, and the fact that I don't see I guess it just came out 3 days ago, so you don't see PETA having a heart attack about it, but we usually get these organizations here in the States who like to start shit. You would think that they'd be pissed off with him right now and trying to get on some boat to go over there like they did with the whalers and stuff. So who knows?
Yeah. Just
crazy. Completely crazy. Protect your puppies. Don't go over there. Yeah. There was something else that came out recently too, and I think Dre is trying to get on here eventually because he might have a freak out. He's been hitting the beer kind of early. But anyway, there's another freak out here. And it's about a bunch of UFO sightings in the last few days. And we've been having a lot of discussions about balloons. So it turns out there's a company that recently started a project. And that project is causing a bunch of UFO sightings. Now, it's bad enough that we have SpaceX, and they've got, there's Starlink up there causing all kind of shit, which right now people are kind of used to it. No one's really reporting it anymore, or people just don't give a damn to actually report it for them. But this new company is causing some shit. They're causing some craziness. And we got a video for that as well. So this will be fascinating. And this is what's being reported now. This is the new UFO. It kind of reminds me of a few people that just had issues about UFOs that they've been reporting. So check this out. This is kind of fascinating, but goes back to like Project Mogul, I guess. Who knows?
Are you getting any sound?
Hold on a second. I guess we're not getting any sound. What the hell is going on? Technology problems, folks. This is the crap that happens.
It was the baby joke.
Yeah, the baby joke got us in trouble with YouTube. All right, hold on. So anyway, let me get Pucky. Pucky's on the line here now. Pucky, we're about to watch a video.
Pucky!
What's up, guys? How's it going?
I screwed this up already.
Sure. Hey.
There you go. All right, here we go.
Your cue cards.
Internet for granted. Large parts of the world are still
all right, can you guys hear it?
Yep.
In towns and cities, providing connectivity with cell towers is economical, as there are lots of people there wanting to connect. But the further away from these towns and cities you go, the fewer people there are, until eventually connectivity just stops. To bring the internet to people in these areas, we need to look up, way up, into the stratosphere. From here, we can provide connectivity across much larger areas, bringing the benefits of the internet to more people. So how do we get there? With balloons. Really big balloons. Beginning their journey from one of our custom-built balloon launchers, our balloons are filled with lighter-than-air gas and released up into the skies. Rising 20 kilometers into the stratosphere, loon balloons float twice as high as airplanes, well above weather and wildlife. To get to where they need to go, loon balloons sail the winds by moving up or down into different wind currents traveling in different directions, joining other balloons in small teams over areas where connectivity is needed. Ground stations connected to local internet service providers send signal up to the balloons and then back down to the ground over large distances, allowing people to connect directly to the internet with an LTE mobile phone. When it is eventually time for our balloons to come down, we navigate them to remote areas and work with local air traffic control to manage their slow descent down to Earth, where they're collected by our recovery teams. By repeating this process at scale, we hope to provide continued connectivity to users on the ground, bringing the internet to more people in more places around the world.
Loon for all.
Well,
Isn't that freaking bananas? So we had two reports from UFOs recently, one in the Ozarks and one in New York, and there were the loon balloons already. What do you guys think about that?
Okay, first of all, I mean, what's going to happen when there's like a major storm or a hurricane and the balloons are blown faster than normal? Or, you know?
We're going to lose our internet.
Yeah. So the second thing is they said whenever the balloons are ready to come down, so when they come down, do they not know that the vast majority of the country is woodlands, deserts, swamps? How are you going to get to this stuff? You know, whenever they do come down, are they guided to certain areas or what? Or, you know,
it sounded like they had some kind of like drone
GPS or
type thing, that because they said something in there about, you know, they kind of plan out where they're going to come down, and kind of like it sounded like they had some kind of control over the thing.
Yeah, they said that they guided down. They guided on the way down when it starts to lose altitude, and apparently they figure out exactly where they're going to land it and send someone out to let people know that the shit's coming down.
I mean, that's a good idea, but I mean, like I said, I mean, are there going to be other balloons on the same line? You know, what if this balloon is traveling slower than the other one? Will they collide, or you know, or are they GPS
why
guided?
the hell do we need balloons when we got all these Starlinks going up?
Yeah, it's like a low budget Starlink.
That's true.
Yeah, well, and Starlink's not the only clusterfuck up there. There's a bunch of other ones. There's another company that's putting up their own star system of satellites. So it's like, why do we need balloons? It makes no sense. What if they're owned by the government?
How long of a life do these things have up there? I mean, it's a balloon.
Yeah, they didn't say that.
Yeah, I mean, the balloons eventually come down, and it's not like years or anything. How many times are you going to have to put these damn things up? That sounds kind of costly. You're going to have to keep launching these fucking balloons, building the fucking things.
What about, you know, like lightning or anything, or will they be acceptable to lightning? You know, if they do, there they go. You know, the satellite or whatever it is fried, or, you know, there's a lot of ifs and ands on that one, on that situation. But I mean, it might work, you know, but I don't know. I'm thinking more the Starlink thing would work better than balloons.
Yeah, it sounds like it could be an issue. And actually, I didn't even think about the bad weather, because they were talking about in the video how they fly like well above the path of airplanes. But still, holy shit, what if a storm happens? Well, maybe they're above the storms. If they're above the airplanes, they could be flying above bad weather too. So
that's true, but I'm sure. I mean, there's turbulence. I mean, when planes fly above clouds and above storms, there's still turbulence going up through there. You know.
Yeah, going over a big hurricane. I mean, still, it's a funnel cloud, and in the center, it's drawing air from above down. What kind of effect is that going to have on them?
Yeah, no kidding. So wouldn't that be great to be driving somewhere and one of these fucking things just lands on you lands in front of you, takes out your house, a couple of dogs. You
Oh,
know,
man.
yeah, I think that'd be horrible. Horrible. So
Yeah,
yeah, something to
that
think
would be
about.
nuts.
That's the freaking right there.
So,
Okay.
I mean,
What
is it
freak out?
is it a freak out about everything? Can you freak out about some stuff or what? What's the deal
Yeah,
here?
it's an open freak out. As a matter of fact, anyone that's on the live chat right now, yeah, if you want to freak out, I'll put the link in there. You can just call in about anything. It's open season on the world.
Okay. Well, have you heard the news about this? The guy is trying to embezzle the money for the Trump wall or whatever. That kind of pisses me off too. They just like taking all this money, just a little bit. Probably some grandmother, some grandfather, gave them their last $18, and they're in there pocketing, paying off their light bill, their cable bill, or whatever the hell else they have. I saw the news tonight. I'm at work, and then, of course, it's all over the news everywhere you go, and me being at a TV station, I hear it constantly. I'm like, it's just kind of pissed me off.
So where is this happening?
Oh, it's like it's one of Trump's like ex. I don't know exactly. I wouldn't really focus on the whole thing. It's all over the news. CNN, NBC. He got indicted today for pretty much pocketing like 25 mil or something like that. And
Jeez,
what it is, they were collecting money, raising money, and it was supposed to be just a little at a time, but it ended up being like 25 million. They're just collecting it from like small individuals, and he ended up pocketing the money, using it to pay off other things, and just pissing me off. I mean, it's all over the news right now. I mean, you can't watch a news station without, especially CNN. You can't watch without running into it right now. It's just it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's the reason I don't watch the news, because of craziness like that. That's just completely bananas.
Yeah, that's something to freak out about.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, and there's like other things that's like, the Q thing that's going on right now. You know what I'm talking about? The conspiracy theories about all that.
The Q thing, like a quantum technology? What are you talking about?
Yeah. Well, it's like, I don't know the full story of it, but it's just I would just get bits and pieces. I haven't really did my research on it, but it's like they're saying like they're parts of the government. It links back to that, like the Pizzagate stuff. You know what I'm talking about? That?
Yeah, Pizzagate.
Yeah,
I never saw pizza again the same way because of that damn fucker.
And, I mean, next thing you know, it's going to be Shittergate again, and it's like the virus and everything like that. It's everything is just 2020. Can you just eat it? It's been a dumpster fire from the get-go of the year.
Yeah, we got a little bit more to go, so it's not over yet.
No.
The fat lady has not sung. But no earthquakes, right? We have no 10.6 earthquake, so I guess that's good.
Earthquakes.
Yeah, I've been watching. I think the largest one I saw somewhere around California was a 4.7, and then there was a 3. What was it? Some little town like northeast of LA, about 100 miles, had a 4.7, and then there was about 50 miles northeast of LA was like a 3.0. That was the biggest thing. The rest of it, I was watching. Had me interested when they said it was coming.
Yeah, nothing around here again. Like I said, a few weeks ago, we had a 5.1 or 5.2 or something like that. And it shook the house, nothing major, nothing broken. But, I mean, a few people around said something about, some of their old window panes cracked and stuff like that, but nothing major. But also somebody suggested there was a lot of fracking that goes along, which I did some little research. There down in South Carolina, they do a lot of fracking, and I'm very close to the South Carolina border. I'm probably like 10 miles away from South Carolina.
Yeah, we had in Irving, Texas, about a few years ago, we had a lot of fracking going on around the area. And there was one summer where it was like earthquakes were crazy. And the highest one, and it's not a place you would normally have an earthquake. The highest one was like about 4.6. And see, I lived at that point on a fourth floor apartment, and the whole building just swayed because we were like probably maybe about 30, 20 feet away from the center. And man, not only just the swaying, but the sound, the echo as that thing just ripples out was freaking amazing. I loved every bit of it, but I can't say that people anywhere would enjoy anything greater than what a 7.0 or a 6.0. Shit, those things, they get kind of crazy depending where they hit.
Yeah,
No,
6.0 brings some shit down.
Yeah.
I kind of wonder if a regular natural earthquake is different, because I've never actually been in a natural earthquake. Well, I guess it was. I don't know. Compared to a fracking earthquake, is there a difference? Or, I have no idea.
You got different kinds of earthquakes because, some are kind of out in here in California. We have kind of like side to side quakes because the plates are moving this way. My wife from Japan is scared shitless of the quakes out here. You would think she'd be used to earthquakes, but because it's more of a volcano type situation, everything shakes up and down in Japan. She's more used to those.
Right. Okay.
So it's different quakes, different areas depend on how the mantle is formed and how the plates are moving.
Yeah,
It has to do also with how deep it is too, because some of them are not as deep, and I guess it can be something else.
Yeah, you'll feel those a hell of a lot more.
Yeah, and people in Oklahoma also deal with a lot of earthquakes due to fracking as well. So, yeah, it's a crazy thing. It's if it causes so much disruption and imbalance, why in the heck do they continue to do fracking so close to like cities? It's beyond me. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, really, I haven't done a lot of research about what fracking is. I know they put like water pressure in the ground to push up the natural gas and the oil. I mean, I think that's pretty much it there, But I guess it just like disturbs like the natural plating in the earth, which makes it, what makes it shake, or I guess it does.
If they're using water, if it's water jet that they're doing and they're putting that in the ground, what they're probably doing is creating what's called liquefaction, and it basically creates quicksand. So 1 second it can be solid earth, and it gets enough water, it actually it's almost like sand water. So there's nothing to support it. So everything above it, all that weight, your support's gone. So all that weight's got to shake, do something, go somewhere.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. I need to do some more research or anything like that. But I mean, I don't know. It's just, that's bananas. That's crazy right there itself. I mean, because if you disturb something enough, it's gonna happen, like a bigger earthquakes. I mean, a 5.1 or 5.2, what we had here, that's still pretty powerful for a area that doesn't get earthquakes that often.
Exactly.
In the homes here, they're not built for earthquakes. They'll knock a trailer right off the blocks here. But still, I mean, I'm not joking. I mean, if it's closer to the epicenter, I'm pretty sure it's it can really destroy some foundations and. But if we had anything higher than that, stuff would collapse around here because, our buildings are definitely not meant for that. And I mean, plus Charlotte is a very old city. It's here in North Carolina, so it's, we're not prepared for anything like that.
Yeah, you need that California code California building code to survive that stuff. And it's funny too because in Irving they actually created a fault line that wasn't there before because of the fracking. So that just showed up out of nowhere from 1 week to the next because they had the local university out there with seismographs and checking out what the hell was going on. And they finally decided to stop all the fracking, but then they created, I guess, an unnatural fault line. So they actually have a fault line now, thanks to fracking.
Oh wow!
Wonder how that's gonna. Yeah, I wonder how that's gonna.
You know,
yeah.
I know there's a fault line that goes through like close to Arkansas. You know, up next to like close to Memphis, Tennessee, through that area. I know there's a fault line through there, but you know, I don't know how far it goes into like Oklahoma, you know, Texas and stuff like that. But I've never experienced a California earthquake or Alaskan earthquake. You know, those earthquakes are like some major earthquake stuff that can cause a tsunami or something. You know.
Yeah, it's bananas. It's just crazy. But hey, eventually they'll get the idea. With a couple more of those, they'll end up stopping the fracking eventually, or go to somewhere else, some other way of doing it, or move further out from the population. Hopefully. I mean, they did it in Irving. They stopped.
Yeah, if it's not one thing, it's another. You know, like I think it's in Virginia somewhere. They had a town that was a coal mining town, and the coal under in the mine caught fire.
Oh,
and
no, that's Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay, yeah, and everybody ended up having to basically leave town because it's the whole city, the whole little town is on top of a smoldering coal fire. You got vents coming out. I think didn't they use that idea, that place for Silent Hill, the town in Silent Hill or something like that?
I don't know.
Nice.
But what they would do, they had like a pit where they used to throw in their garbage and stuff. Because I actually I studied up on this a few years ago. They used to throw their garbage into this pit, and like it had coal still in it, and it caught fire, burned some. I don't know how it caught fire, but it started burning, and it just got a hold of one of the veins of coal, and it just kept on burning and burning and burning. I mean, the population, they told the people they had to move out. It's from the smell itself and from the chemicals, not chemicals, but the just like, yeah, I guess it would be the chemical reaction from the coal burning underground and just coming up in people's houses. It's just unbearable. They said the ground there can get to like 115 to more, in certain areas. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that stuff is freaking crazy as hell. And Jersey is kind of where my sister's at, known for having shitty ass grounds. Actually, one of the funniest things that I used to notice flying in from Florida into New York, flying over Jersey, is how nasty it looks. Anyway, but that's where she lives.
Right.
I'm okay with that. Okay, here, I got something for you guys. Remember earlier this week I was talking about the freaking out because of the free fall that the Starship has to do when it hits that 12-mile test, the hop. Yeah. And people are going crazy posting videos about it, showing basically what it's going to look like. I just pulled one up. So I think the people in South Texas got to get ready for some crazy shit to happen. I'll be honest, because this thing looks nuts. Here's let me pull this up real quick. Yeah, perfect. And we'll get some sound, maybe. That's so relaxing. Isn't it beautiful?
A majestic penis floating through space.
Where's the Goodyear symbol? That's what it looks like.
Amazing.
That looks a little like a penguin.
Oh, it sure does. Man, that Elon and his crew, have mercy.
Now, this testing is close to you. Is that correct, Manny?
Actually, it's close to Dre.
Oh, really?
Watch out, Dre.
Yeah, it's right
No,
next to Dre. Hop, skip away.
Look at you.
Well, I can't wait till the damn thing actually looks like this.
Now, you said that thing's supposed to hold like close to 150 something people, or?
Yeah, I saw somebody said about 100 people in it.
Mm.
So what we see now is nowhere near the final size. I think you can see Dre's house from there. One of these little dots.
Cruising as a mail truck.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it is just amazing, completely amazing how they just came up with this thing in this crazy ass free fall.
Now, is that supposed to haul like or transport people to Mars, or?
Yeah, so the plan is that it's going to have people and equipment in it. But I saw an earlier plan that said that one of them will go first, and it's just going to do is autonomous landing by itself, filled with equipment.
Oh,
And then they'll send a second one with the folks.
so
And that's going to be a lot of stress on those front fins. Be a lot of stress.
Yeah, so that is freaking crazy. Crazy.
that is.
And actually-
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, man.
No, go ahead.
I see how that is, but it wasn't like a few years ago. I mean, I don't know if there still is or a project of that, the Aurora project of something to be able to almost something similar like that, but not taking off like that, but actually take off on like a runway kind of deal to actually build up the altitude to actually exit the atmosphere into space. I mean, did they just kill that or what? Or
Dude, I've heard of the Aurora project being a couple different things since like the 90s. It was originally like, but it was always space based and supposed to be out of Area 51. And
Was that flat one that looked like a flat?
kind of like like a little flying triangle wing type thing,
Yes,
you know,
yes, I remember
with round stomachs. Yeah, that was like one of them. Then, yeah, and that was supposed to be like some kind of new high altitude space spy plane, and I don't know, limited attack or something like that. And then I heard it was supposed to be some some kind of carrier, or it was going to have multiple people, and it was going to be some kind of transport.
yeah, that's the same thing I've heard that too. But I mean, like, you don't hear about it anymore. You don't hear anybody talking about it, or I don't know if they probably scrapped it, or but like, well, we're gonna have to do something else. But that would make more sense, and I think it would be a lot easier to build up the speed to as it goes up, for it to circle out of the atmosphere instead of just trying to land. And I mean, so much can go wrong right there. What if you're trying to land, if it's landing on Mars, if they have those sandstorms on Mars that could last for months. What if that gets caught up in that? I mean, it's going to blow it off target or just blow it over completely.
Yeah, it's got to be really tall to have as much, 100 people, gear, all that shit.
It's going to be extremely tall.
For 6 months. I think it takes about 6 months, 5 to 6 months for something to even leave Earth to get to Mars atmosphere. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
those things are like not using like 32 of those Raptor engines, so who knows how fast it'll get there. That's bugs in the background.
I see.
Moving
I see.
It's got gas problems. Anyway, so yeah, so I would imagine that Elon's going to find a way to get there a little faster.
Right.
But yeah, that's the free fall, and that really was a really calm look at it. But if you look at the versions that SpaceX put together, it does not look that simple, and it really it waits until the very last few seconds before the engines turn on. So the whole time it's coming in, it's kind of like the space shuttle. It's just gliding in, except it's doing like a kind of like a belly flop, like a free fall belly flop. It's a weird thing, very strange.
Oh wow.
Dude. That's good. That's a lot of stress on those fins. You know, going through, you know, coming down from the atmosphere, you're gonna have all the heat. Then if they're not turning the engines on till last minute and to pull that maneuver, that's a steep angle change. They better build that. They better build those damn things pretty stout.
So, how do you think this is going to work? You know, when when everything's ready to go to put people into this, are you going to be able to move around? Are they going to have like little, you know, compartments for people? You know, and you know how much food you got to think about: food, water, you know, reusable for showers and, you know, bathrooms. And you know, how's this all going to work? It's just,
who knows?
Seems like a
hopefully they have a nice bar, maybe a nice bar with some whiskey. It's going to be a lot of drinking on the way up there because it's going to be boring as hell. But no, I mean, they've actually got a few schematics out there. If you go to SpaceX, they have some, but it changes so much. You know, they're always changing their schematics, their models. So you kind of have to wait probably a couple years before you really see what the final product's going to be. Yeah, because even now they've got a bunch of experimental, what they call the canards, the cones. They're changing all those things because they keep finding ways to make them.
Who do you think will be eligible to actually go to Mars? Do you think any of us, if we had, you know, enough money to go there, just like a plane ticket, you know, or are they going to, for like the first 10, 20 years, certain individuals only go to Mars, you know?
Well, you know, initially it was a one-way trip. They don't talk about it that way anymore. So if it's a one-way trip, I remember initially when they were talking about it, they were looking for people who can build a colony. So it'll be like engineers, doctors, you know, people that can actually put the colony together, basically.
Yeah, but I mean, they're going to need laborers. They're going to need, you know, they're not going to let your average crackhead get on that and get on a plane up there. You know, that's the last thing you need. You know, but you know, you're still going to need your laborers. You're going to need your carpenters, your electricians. Your average guy is not going to know how to install a toilet main. You know.
Well, we'd have to see. I mean, the guy, he has quite the workforce. So who knows? Maybe he'll have a lottery in SpaceX and Tesla, see who wants to go first. But, you know, who knows how it's going to come out? Who knows? And actually, speaking of Tesla, I think the Norm had one Freakout he wanted to share today, but he had technical issues. He had to leave regarding COVID-19 running crazy at Tesla and SpaceX. The employees catching it, which is kind of like the thumb in the face, thumb in the nose, thumbing the nose up to Elon, because he a few months ago was telling his employees not to worry about the coronavirus. So there you go. That freaking sucks.
Yeah, I mean, how's it? You know, Texas was like a hotspot there. You know, how's it going there now? Are they still, you know, being really cautious there in Texas, Manny, or what?
Yeah, extremely cautious, but you know, we're in Texas. We make our own coronavirus, so we have a different strand. This one comes with barbecue and some jalapeno.
What about? I mean, I know maybe the Norm can type in. I know he's having difficulty. I know, but I mean, he lives in Vegas. You know, you have everybody coming in from Vegas, all over the country and stuff. I mean, I wonder how bad it is there. Really. I mean, is it running rampant, or do they have it under control? Or
Yeah, think of the strippers.
Yeah, they all got masks. They're all wearing masks right now.
The strippers,
Yeah,
the
that's a good question
brothels.
because
some of them
initially,
probably
remember
do.
they were
I
saying
don't know.
if you were in a warm place, you don't have to worry about it. That's why they weren't going to cancel the Roswell event, and then all of a sudden, COVID-19 started sneaking in. So who knows? There's one more video I want to kind of share, and I was supposed to do this last time when the UFO bros were on, and I didn't get to do it because everybody was enjoying the fellas being on, talking about their stuff, their adventures with the Travel Channel. But this was the video that I was looking for from, the folks over at SpaceX. This is the hop for SN5, but using the SpaceX cameras. I don't remember sharing this. Did I? I don't think I did.
So.
I don't think you did.
All right, let me restart it because I think I kind of messed that one up now, didn't I?
3, 2, 1.
Look at that hairspray go.
It's like a tear gas canister or something.
It does. A flying shotgun shell.
That's amazing.
It is. I mean, just think how far we have come, to 2020 to see something like that. Growing up as a kid, in the 80s and stuff. I mean, it's just, you watch Star Trek or Star Wars and you be like, wow, that'd be kind of cool to do something like that. But now, I mean, we're just at the edge of starting the good stuff. Just think what it's going to be like in 100 years. I know we'll be all old, gray, and or passed on, but still our kids, our grandkids, and they're going to be being able to go onto some cutting edge stuff. And I kind of wonder though if we won't boost our technology with alien technology with it. Will we add that in? Will we have that access? Will not that it's disclosure or anything, but like, hey, SpaceX, let me help you out, the government saying this, here's this technology, or we come up with that fuel. Bob Lazar had that, was it Element 115?
Mm-hmm.
What if it all comes out, be like, hey, we were just saving this for the right moment, here it is. Then we can advance, much faster into space. Because
that's what I was thinking about the other day when we were talking about the whole Pentagon thing. It's like, well, really, if this is the case, and Eric Davis is right, and there really was some debris, crashed air, UFO or whatever, then what the hell are we doing? What are they doing making deals with SpaceX, To the Stars Academy, and everybody else? Because all of that stuff is useless, really.
Right. I mean,
there's still oil.
Yeah,
there's still oil on the planet. That's why.
What kind of fuel are they
run
using?
Out of oil.
Yeah, I mean, how much oil do we actually still have? I mean,
not a whole lot.
They can't be. I mean, we've been using it. Almost 200 years, 100 years more? I mean, how much dinosaur juice do we actually have? I mean, I mean, think about it. I mean, it's just, I wonder what kind of fuel they are using for the SpaceX launches right now. I mean, it's not. Is it a type of rocket fuel or a special mix? That's kind of a question that I wouldn't mind finding out. But Bob Lazar, he said that there's like what 9? They said they had 9 at the time. 2 of them they were working on. Rest of them were, either it was ours or we replicated it or it was theirs and we were just trying to work on it. I mean, if we had that, why don't we just duplicate their technology and try to figure it out and then use the fuel, the element 115? I just or do they just, or does the government actually want us off the planet? Maybe they're trying to hold it back so we can't.
Again, I think it goes back to whoever holds the secret holds the power. So they're really not going to share it with anyone if that's really what they have. Just look at what's happening in the last few months. With SpaceX and everything. How China's getting upset about it. The Russians are getting upset. They're not going to be charging the U.S. for rides anymore and stuff like that. It's all about power. So now we got the power to move our own people. So now everybody else is mad because they're not going to make money off of that. But that goes the same with UFO technology. It's the same thing. So if you have the secret, you're not going to give it to the rest of the world. You're definitely not going to give it to your own people because they can't keep the damn mouth shut because of the internet. So it doesn't. I mean, really. Yeah. If you think about it, it is very possible that there is a secret space military a program or something like that. I would bet that that's more possible and plausible than them sharing the information worldwide.
Yeah, because if you have that power, I mean, if something majorly happens, who's going to go out first? If you're the government and you have that stuff, you're going to use the government is going to use their own stuff to get off the planet. Be like, hey, SpaceX don't have their stuff together. We're not using them. We got our own stuff. And they would get who works at Area 51 anyway? And these Ndugwe, really intelligent people that have skills that can rebuild a colony. Makes sense. You're not going to use some Joe Schmo that put together, help put together a Tesla or parts of a rocket or whatever. You're going to use the top people that you have.
Well, let's consider this. So let's say that in March they come out, Pentagon report comes out and says, yes, we have recovered material from a craft of unknown origin. What does that mean to you guys?
It just means unknown to us. How much unknown is it to them? Because they've, ever since Roswell, not to bring up old stuff, or whatever, but they know that stuff is is out there. They know that there's something else beyond humans or a type of human or a humanoid. They're just going to say unknown to us because we have no idea. I told you my little theory. I have 2 things about this. People that claim on like ancient aliens and OPD, and claim to be a UFO experts. You are not a UFO expert unless you've actually touched one or been inside one. And there's only one person that's claiming that's done that. Well, besides the people that say I've been abducted or anything like that. Maybe that guy from Arizona, I forget his name right offhand. Up in Jerome, Arizona. You know who I'm talking about? What's his name? He was a logger that him and his buddies.
They left him out there.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
Mr. Walton.
Yeah, I can see him being an expert. Because he says he was in one and everything like that. And I kind of believe him. I kind of actually fall into that. But Bob Lazar is the only other person that said he's been inside of it, and and then whoever other scientists that haven't came out. I say those are the experts. I mean, hell, me and you can get on Ancient Aliens and just talk about, oh yeah, the UFOs, aliens built the pyramids. You know, they helped design this, how this. I mean, anybody can say that. Do they know for sure? No. I mean, they got money where they can go travel to see these places, but hell, I got in a van for 2 weeks and went around the country and saw that, and I did that less than $1,000. You know, it's
Or
just,
would your opinion change? Would anything change for you if that happened in February or March?
nah, probably not. You know, because it's not really phasing me anymore. You know, maybe about like 10 years ago, wow, you know, I'd be like, you know, but now it's just kind of, you know, it's kind of just been like the brothers were talking about last week. You know, it's been kind of embedded in us as our generation growing up and getting older. And now kids, you talk to kids now these days, be like, yeah, it's a possibility. You know, it's in our culture. I mean, just think about it. All at one time, these UFO movies and end of the world movies started coming out. You know, I had a theory that the government is paying these movie producers to produce stuff like that, so we get desensitized to the idea of an asteroid hitting the Earth and killing us all, or UFOs coming down from space to take over or destroy us. I mean, it's just those simple scenarios that I think they were doing that, and they made the alien face, of course, like pop culture. You know, it's kind of embedded in us since the 90s. You know, and it's just as perfect. It hit Generation X. Generation X passed it on to Gen Z and whatever X, Y, F, and fuck whatever else is out there these days. You know, it's just. I think it's just been embedded, so it wouldn't surprise me if they did come out and say that. I mean, I'd be like, well, about time. You know, they finally just told the truth.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So what about
you see? And I think what's going to happen is that no one's really going to react to it. You get a few people who have been following this for some time. You know, the guys that like you who go out and you do stuff. There's people who write books. There's people who go to every freaking convention they can. And those are the ones that might say something. They might get upset about it. Greer might be out, thumping on his chest because, yeah, he was right. But the majority of people won't give a damn about it unless it affects them personally. And so
Now,
I could see them dropping a little bit of a hint, dropping a morsel just to see how many fires they start. But I guarantee you, people just won't care.
Now,
Yeah.
I think a small group or a small percentage would, because it would throw off what I people that are religious that believe like certain things that maybe we weren't seated here on Earth. The religion would be thrown off. I mean, they'll be like preachers preaching, no, they're wrong. The government's telling us wrong, or you
They're
have people
demons.
or stuff like that. It's you're going to have those groups, but
And you will, but with the
Yeah.
last 3 times that those videos came out, the religious people didn't shut off their TVs and not watch the videos. They did. It was on national news everywhere. There is no way you could have missed it every single time that it came out. But they chose to turn the other cheek. Now you have the Pope, or what was it, about 3 or 4 years ago, who says that he'd like to meet an alien because he'd like baptize him or bring him into the religion or some shit like that. So, it is what it is. I think people are not going to be as worked up as we think they will be.
Yeah.
No,
if it had
I don't
happened,
think
yeah.
so.
If it
But
had happened in the
think-
50s, that would have been one thing.
Exactly. Yeah, totally.
You know, it would have been you would have had people building bomb shelters and fucking everything, stocking up. Nowadays it's unless it lands on their living room or they have to wait in line behind it at McDonald's or some damn thing. They're not going to give a shit.
Yep.
Yeah. If it's going to interrupt their Starbucks, then it's.
Yeah.
But I mean, a lot of people, but like, well, if it happens, it happens. It's kind of that thing. I'll believe it if I see it.
Mhm.
I mean, they have that attitude, but when it actually does, there's going to be so many. Oh, that's the government. The government people are flying. You got Air Force pilots flying that. That's not real. Look at the Phoenix Lights. Exactly the same thing. People thought they were flares. People thought it was something from Area 51. They were test flying since it was so close to Area 51, because Phoenix is only what, 5 hour drive from Vegas, 45 an hour to 45-minute flight from Phoenix to Vegas. It's not. I mean, it could easily circle down, come around, whatever it is, and land back out in the desert. But I know, that it was just too big. It was too big to cover up. People all over Phoenix saw that. All over Arizona saw that. I mean, even the governor at the time, Phi Symington, he saw it but denied it. He denied it. But later on, he does that interview and he says there was something over the Phoenix. He knew it was. He just had to keep the people calm, because I don't think were ready at the time to accept the fact. But now that happened again, since we are desensitized pretty much of it, if it happened over another city, people would be like, well, look at Phoenix. Look at whatever else, whatever other city, that's had major UFO sightings.
Well, let's talk about. So Norm says we need to have a full-on science party for the next election. So let's just bring up politics, but not necessarily politics for politics. But let's talk about how you get into these political years, this big one like this year, and you hear people talking about cutting military spending, which sucks. We don't need all of that. There's no threat to us. But yet again, we've seen this video constantly on the internet of this one object, which now people are saying is another jet. They're saying it's birds. I don't know. It's freaking crazy, the theories are coming out about the Tic Tac. But still, you have one object who outran a $22 million fighter jet. And on top of that, also made look entire flotilla look like shit, which had at the time the most advanced radar in the naval fleet, and it made it look like it was nothing, like it wasn't even there. So this is where, to me, we come to the situation where topics like this are only good for elections, and they're only good for trying to downplay people who believe in UFOs, people who believe in life somewhere else. That's really what the topic's good for. That's what I'm saying, that eventually, if they say anything in the spring, it's just going to disappear. Just like the 3 times we saw the damn videos, just like we saw the videos of, Commander Fravor, the guys that were on the ship with the antennas, with the radars, all of those. We're just going to forget about that they even existed. All their testimony, all the interviews will mean nothing, because people just don't care. And then, they're saying it's COVID. Well, I don't think it's COVID. People just don't really care about this.
Right. I kind of have a feeling that, the U.S. has 2 different types of, I would say, military aligned ones, are full on everything that we have: Air Force, Marines, Navy, Army, Coast Guard. But I think we have a black budget, which we do. We everybody knows we do. Remember a few years ago, $600 for a freaking toilet seat or whatever, or a hammer or whatever it was.
Yeah, I think the hammers were
it was the
like
hammer,
50,000.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter. I think we have. I mean, does anybody know how many members of SpaceX there is? I mean, how many people are actually in SpaceX right now? It is a full-on legitimate, category of the United States, military, but who's in it? All we see was those couple of high commanders that was sitting behind the president's desk waving a flag. I mean, I do believe that we have a whole nother section that we don't know about. And they were just, that Tic Tac was probably just testing their abilities to see what we're going to do. But like, all right, let's put it against our own stuff. Because if it was flying over that fast, why didn't other countries pick it up? Why didn't, other countries have fast jets too? I mean, Russia has fast jets. I mean, why was it just us that came across it? I think
it goes back to the whole knowledge is power, right? Why would they share it with us? I'm sure if
that's
we're
true.
somewhere in one of those countries, they have reports of it. They have fighter pilots who reported, who really compare us to Russia. I for damn sure, as a Russian person in the military, I would not tell anyone that I saw anything. And look at North Korea or China. I don't think any of those people would risk their life just to say something. And people here risk their careers. People over there, they risk their
That's true.
lives.
That's true. Any pilot that flies for a commercial jet, they talk about that stuff. They're pretty much lost their career right now. I mean, it might be a little bit different for smaller ones, like smaller carriers or anything like that. But you're talking about these big ones, Delta, American Airlines. You might as well, if you talk about that, you're done for, because they don't want these pilots to talk about it. That would scare the passengers, freak them out. Because when you're up that high in the air and something happens, of course you're going to freak out. So they don't want their passengers scared or taking the chance. They need the money to operate. So
yeah, I mean, people are just, I don't know. And you're right. There's some people are desensitized to it, but there's other people who are hypersensitive to it. But that is a
Right.
very small segment of the population, unfortunately.
very, very.
Hmm.
So what more do you believe in, Manny? I mean, do you believe that full-on disclosure is on the way? Do you believe that maybe our new president will, whatever president we have, put it that way, that happens, on election, are they going to eventually just close? Like, look, hey, this is the deal. This has been happening since when. What do you believe it? Do you believe it'll happen ever?
No, I don't. I don't believe it at all. And listen, let's look at the two guys. Trump gives no fucks about UFOs, and he's made that very clear from the beginning. People try to goad him into the conversation, and he plays along. He doesn't give a damn about it. Now Biden on the other side, they could take him to the alien. He'd forget about it in about 30 minutes. So I'm not even. I just don't see it. I don't see it. If it's gonna come from somewhere in the government, it's gonna be someone that's in the trenches, that has seen the stuff, they're dealing with it, and they might get an okay from some kind of, secret cabal, thanks Stephen Greer, to give them the okay to let a little bit of information out to see what happens. But that's about it. I don't see a real disclosure coming, but I do see that we have private industry going into space. So now is, holy shit, now we got to cover our asses, because we can't. There's no way for us to keep everyone in our pockets when they're going to space. And it could be from SpaceX. It could be like those guys in Florida. They're putting up that freaking gigantic balloon and have people go up. You can't keep all of that secret. Eventually, something's going to come out. And I think that's why they're working slowly to give us little pieces of information. And I think something will come out in the spring. I just don't think it's what people think it's going to be.
I did not even think about that. I mean, that was the last thing to even think about, because all these private companies, Virgin Mobile, SpaceX, they're going up. They're going to eventually start seeing the same stuff that the astronauts, saw when they were, in orbit. They're going to see some stuff, and SpaceX is going to have the cameras to film it. They're going to film every bit of it. They're going to document their whole journey. They will.
Right.
Elon loves putting it all live too. So
He sure does. Well, he does his little dance.
It does.
Besides that, CubeSats are really inexpensive, and you could load a bunch of fucking cameras on those things and just shoot them up. So
Right.
eventually people are going to catch things, and someone's got some explaining to do. It's what's going to come down to.
It'll probably be very controversial for a while. But when they do actually have this on camera and start showing it to people, I think it'd be very controversial. But other than that, after a while, it'd just be like, hey, we're going up space. Hopefully we'll see something. It's like going on safari. You hope to see an elephant. You hope to see a lion. Going up in space, going to Mars, you hope to see something fly by. It's going to be just like that eventually. I mean, it's like you said, people are going to get so desensitized to it, and unless something really happens to where they interact with each other and we find out, hey, these guys are here to kill us, but who knows, they're maybe here to help us. You know,
right. And here's a topic that might come under some fire: flat Earth.
Oh, here we go.
You guys.
Here we go.
Yeah, the flat. Think about it. Like all these, you can finally get all the flat earthers to chuck in like $1 or $2 and take one main flat earther, stick him on one of those Virgin flights, because they don't even got to get on SpaceX. Get on one of those Virgin Galactic flights and then figure out for yourself if it's flat or not.
You don't even have to get on that. Yeah, you don't even have to get on that. Get on a Delta flight and fly across the Atlantic Ocean.
Well, they've got theories as to why that doesn't work. And so one of the theories is that the glass is making the curvature happen. The actual glass from the portal, it's actually making the curvature happen, and it affects the lens when they stick a lens out to try to videotape it.
Yeah,
I seen a guy do that on YouTube.
Yeah, they won't believe it. They'll come up with some crazy bullshit like that. You know, dude, we're on a turtle's back, right? A big turtle's back, flying through space on a big turtle's back.
That's right. You woke Bugs up.
Sorry, Bugs. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I flew from I several times flying to South Africa from Atlanta, Georgia. You know, that's 15 hours across the Atlantic into the Southern Hemisphere. You see the curve. I mean, hell, just going from East Coast to West Coast, you see it. I mean, it's...
Yeah, I've seen it going to Japan. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's... Anytime that you fly that long a distance or up that high, you're going to see the curvature somehow or some way, unless you're flying to the Midwest and you don't really see anything there. But for long distance flights, yeah, you will see it. But I mean, hell, everybody's entitled to their opinion. And look at us. We're up here talking about UFOs, and people are like, well, they're entitled to their opinion, you know?
Yeah.
So
you want to be on a turtle's back?
But I'm not, I'm not against that. You know?
Oh, yeah. As a matter of fact, look, you can see Bugs. You actually see Bugs in the video there. He moved into focus.
Oh, yeah, I see him right there, yeah.
Yeah. Jeez Louise. Dave Gardner wants to know what's behind curtain number 3. You don't want to know. Trust me. What were you going to say, Bucky?
What was I going to say?
The Norm says the last time I talked about a flat earther, he died.
You remember the guy that built the little rocket?
Yeah, that's what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, did they have a special like memorial for him, or what was? Or are they just like, well, you know? I mean,
I'm
is
sure
there
they
anybody else? Are there anybody else trying to still prove, this flat Earth thing?
I'm sure there is.
Trying to build
has a following. It's kind of like the Beatles. There's Beatles haven't died yet. People are Biggie Smalls, Tupac, flat earthers.
Tupac.
Just throw
Yeah, Bruce Lee's still alive. He's running around the jungle somewhere in Southeast Asia.
I've
I've heard that one before.
Yeah.
All right, now here's a topic. Here's a topic here to talk about. Now, I was watching this documentary on I forgot which station or whatever it was. I was watching it on about Antarctica. They had several things, where they thought they found pyramids, sticking out of the snow and ice. But do you think that actually that the German army, the Nazis, actually had or were able to go down there to have a base?
Listen, if they made it all the way down to Argentina, if they infiltrated NASA and built up NASA back in the beginning, any of that is possible.
I mean,
I heard they spent a lot of time going down there.
Yeah,
and
the Americans, they actually had an expedition down there. They sent several battleships and
Project High Jump, I think it was.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's right. If I remember correctly, I think it was. But I mean, for us to actually have the time to spend to go do that, there had to be something there. There had to be something else if they were not telling us about it. But even getting down there, I mean, nobody can really prove it. I mean, we can't get down there to actually go look. I mean, it's just we would not survive. But I think there is. I really do think there is something there, or it was there at one time. I don't know if there is anything currently there, but I think there was at one time, and I think there used to be a civilization there at one time, but now it's frozen over. But I'm not saying it's like Atlantis or anything like that, like major pyramids. But I think at one time there could have been people there, living and because you remember there was a map.
I want to go back to ancient aliens and stuff like that too. Let's do let's see. We got a couple of people. Ronnie Dawson joined in. We can get Ronnie to call in and let us know what's going on with him. Zachariah says John Kerry made it. Yeah, he did. And I think that year also some other government folks made it down there. And then that's when the conspiracies went crazy. And started talking about a crash ship.
I remember hearing about the Project High Jump. They took like a whole freaking battle fleet down there and all this equipment, and they came back, halfway through the mission, missing a bunch of shit. And they were
planes.
Said that, they were encountering saucer type things come out of the freaking water around the ships and all kinds of crap.
People did die from that. I think they lost over 47 or 40, something like that. Around 40 something people actually died in a Project High Jump. It could have been more, but I just know the initial, the first whatever, was 47 people.
And I've heard, I can't remember where it was. I heard somewhere that it was 1938, I think it was, in Germany. They recovered some kind of crashed item, and that's where they got the stuff for the bell. They got the ideas and kind of reverse engineered the bell. So, dude, if they had that shit in 38 and could make a bell, I mean, shit, we got their rocket guys.
Mm-hmm.
They were ahead. We got to space because of them. So really,
But at one time, Ronnie
somehow.
Dawson say something? He had some information about Antarctica, or was it him that he said that he went down there, or who?
To Antarctica? No, I don't think Ronnie went to Antarctica, but that's a long drive for him.
Yeah, he'll freeze his 17 off.
I think we were watching. I think some of us. I think the Norm was watching it with us or something like that one time. Several of us from the group actually watched. Oh gosh, what's Goof on? What was it? Whatever it was. That dude was on there. He was talking about how he went down to. He got a chance to go to Antarctica. You know who I'm talking about, Green Man?
Yeah.
I think you were watching it with
familiar.
me.
Yeah. It sounds familiar. I can't remember where it was, but yeah, it sounds familiar.
Yeah, I don't recall seeing anything like that. But who in the hell makes it to Antarctica and then gets on a podcast with Goof on?
I don't know. I don't even know how you get down there. I mean, I don't think there's any flights or any. I think you have to special charter it or something.
Probably about five flights, 2 boat rides, and freeze your ass off until you get to McMurdo.
Yeah, you freeze your ass off for sure. No kidding. Ronnie says that Linda Moulton Howe is spinning some wild stories about the inner Earth.
Oh yeah,
and I'm sure she is. I'm sure she is. She's special.
Yeah, she has interesting chasing wardrobes nowadays too.
Yeah,
what I've seen in her videos.
Now, Isn't she the
Like a
lady
gypsy.
that's she lives in Arizona, like has that special ranch or whatever. Not Skinwalker, but I mean she lives in Arizona, like out in the middle of nowhere on off the grid.
She probably does. Her skin looks like it lately. She looks a little bit lizardish.
Yeah.
I think I saw something on there about like she lives totally off the grid, like she has solar lighting, she tries not to be connected to anything like that. I forgot what it was off on. I knew she did some like stuff like cattle mutilation. She was like studying that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she was big in
out.
that back in the day. Yeah, she
Yeah.
she like was the front runner for all that stuff back in the day.
Yeah, and I think she won a lot of awards too, believe it or not, for reporting in those kind of things.
Yep.
But
Yep.
yeah,
So,
I don't
is
know.
that something that
I actually thought she
what do you think about that?
What was that, Buggy?
What do you think about that? Like the cattle mutilation? I mean, you think that was just like pranksters, or actually, may have been government studies, or what, or aliens, or?
Well, I mean, from the looks of the wounds, I mean, if they say no blood is around, and from all the pictures of the bodies that I've seen, yeah, they're not in a pool of blood or anything.
No.
The cuts are really, really sharp, and they're cauterized. Do you have a lightsaber scalpel?
Yeah, no kidding.
How the hell are you gonna do that? Just a couple kids in fucking Kentucky on a Saturday night, with a 12-pack of fucking,
Bush.
Pabst Blue Ribbon. They're not gonna fucking be able to handle that. They're not gonna pull that off.
No. They were saying like the tongue was actually missing, the genitalia would be missing, and certain organs would be gone, but the cuts are like so precise. I mean, you're right about that. Your average cow tipper is not going to be out there doing that. But I mean, there are certain things. Yeah, I mean, they said like a lot of times they would see like special different helicopters, like black helicopters out, amongst the fields, or it could be chasing other things. But I mean, that right there, actually, the cow mutilation thing actually freaks me out. That actually scares me a little bit to think about that if they're actually coming into like fields and coming close to farms and houses and stuff, I mean, what makes you think they could do that to you? If
That's
why are they taking the parts, and what are they doing with them?
Now,
why are they interested in these certain parts? Because it's always, reproductive. It's eyes, ears, tongues. What's so special about those? Why are they so interested in them? And what are they doing with them?
It's how they create 17.
Yeah, I mean, is it just cows that they're doing? Because I don't think I've ever heard any reports of like horses, or I don't know if there's
seen
like
something about sheep. Like, I think I've seen sheep. I think I may have seen horses too.
Yeah. Only thing I've heard was just cows. Or, I don't know if it was horses. I mean, that would make more sense if it was more horses and stuff. But I don't know. I mean, but then you have these stories about these abduction stories, and aliens actually penetrating inside the house. If they're doing if that is really done by ETs, what makes you think that they wouldn't do that to you?
Well, you're giving me you're giving Ronnie some flashbacks here, so we want to.
Jake from State Farm is probably pissed off still, for having to take care of that insurance policy of the aliens trashing his house. But
no kidding. Here's we were talking about Linda Moulton Howe in Antarctica. She actually has a trailer on her YouTube channel that stated last year, November 27, regarding alien bases in Antarctica. Let's check this out.
Yeah, let's do that. Is this The Empire Strikes Back? This
aliens
looks
go
like the Hoth.
more than one race. They have been in contact with Homo sapiens since time began. They seeded us.
There is a huge secret hidden deep underneath the ice in Antarctica. Military whistleblowers tell me that there are very large alien structures under 2 miles of Antarctic ice.
It needs to be open. The truth needs to be out.
Oh, this is not that old. It is
Yeah.
2019. Yeah.
Yeah, she's working it.
Oh,
So there you go.
Actually,
She's
I have to
doing
check that out later.
Yeah, it does look interesting.
Yeah, that kind of stuff does interest me. I don't know why, but it does. I was just about to say, what was I going to say about that? Oh, it also goes back. You know, they say there is bases there, but I mean, you think about it, it would make sense to have bases because the U.S. has bases in Greenland. I mean, Greenland is just if it's not, you know, inside the capital in these small little coastal towns, there is nothing else in Greenland. I mean, it's just pure ice until summertime. You know, spring and summertime. Then then you see the ground and stuff like that. But why do we need Air Force bases in Greenland? I mean, yeah, I guess it could be strategically awesome to have there, but that's why we have bases in England. You know, that's why we have bases in Germany. You know, and so off and so on. But why Greenland?
Maybe because for a nuclear attack, the shortest route would be over the pole. So maybe it's kind of like a defensive borderline between Russia, perhaps, and they want to cover as much ground. If they didn't have a base there, maybe it would be too big of a gap for a large, convoy, aerial, or something to come through.
Yeah, I mean, there'll be no way to dig a missile silo in Greenland. The ground is too frozen. It's the permafrost. But having a Air Force base where you can send off planes, with bombs or missiles on it, that would be strategic. Yeah, I can see that. But I just, if we have Minuteman missiles that can hit there within 30 minutes, it takes 10, 15 minutes to actually get a plane off the ground. I mean, it's just, I don't know, maybe. I just kind of always wonder that, I want to find out that. That's one of the things I want to find out. But one day I will travel to Greenland. I know. Within the next 2 years, I will go to Greenland.
You're more likely to go to Greenland than Antarctica, probably. But Pucky, if you do, you need to send us some video, have some bunch of GoPros going, and let us know how cold it really is. Because
I've been studying it. I've been doing research about going to Greenland because it's actually pretty simple to get to the capital of Greenland. You just you can fly into Iceland during the spring and summertime, then fly up to Greenland on Greenland Air. They actually have their own airline. It's a little expensive, yes, but once you get there, it's it looks, I follow it on Facebook and stuff like that. They have summertime activities and it's nice. They say it's chilly at night, but it's not that cold during the summer and springtime, they said. I'm definitely going to go there. Mark my words, I will be there in the next 2 years. I will be. I will see it. I have to see it. I have to experience it.
And you'll have to wear your UFO Buster Radio shirt when you land. Yeah.
And in December, I'm heading to South Africa. Right there. I'm going to South Africa. The day I fly out December 14th, I believe it is. And I'll be going on for the rest of the month into January. I'm definitely bringing my UFO Buster Radio shirts. And I might get some more stuff before I go so I can pretty much wear something every day.
We'll design a new shirt just for you. UFO Buster Radio probes the tip of Alaska. I mean, Africa.
Yeah, you should totally do that. You should totally get one.
Totally.
I'll wear the hell out of those shirts all the way down there and back, and have a good time with it too.
Yeah, I'm sure you will too. But make sure you take pictures and maybe interview a few folks. But this is coming to the end of our Freakout for today. Any last words from you guys? I see Michael. Is Michael the alien beer? Is that who he is?
Who is that?
I don't know.
He sounds like alien beer to me.
I don't know. Yeah.
Is anybody else going to come on?
No, I think this is it because we're at the 90-minute mark. So listen, guys, I thank you guys for showing up. Don't forget tomorrow is a Dark Horde. We might have someone from Dre's neck of the woods to share some ghost stories. That should be a lot of fun.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Manny, for letting us be on. Thank you for doing what you do. You know, this is almost as good as alcohol.
There you go. Well, not as good, but maybe close second. Hey, thank you guys for showing up. And as they say, adios.
You're the battery that keeps me awake. Reload under your control before I break. Killing frustration, have to do it all to survive the nightfall. When you fight against the